Welcome back, folks. On today's episode of Junkyard Digs, we continue cleaning shit out of our own backyard. Today, this 97 Ford F250 that I already sold once on Marketplace 3 months ago, and the guy never showed up to pick it up. Really didn't think I'd have to work on this one again, but here we go. Angus!
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm feeling much better than last week. We're finally working on something worth our time.
Well, maybe. We'll see. So this right here is a 97 F250 I bought last year to work on as a little side project with Mook. Sometimes we like to have stuff we don't film so that we can enjoy just wrenching. Turn the music on in the shop, wrench on something the way it used to be without it feeling like work.
With what free time?
Yeah, that's just it. Which is what brings us to this. I drove this truck for a little while. It has bad ball joints, as you can see from the tire from here. It has bad tires, as you can see from the tire from here, since there's an Angus applying pressure to it currently.
Talk, would ya?
It's got it's got a goofy transmission going on with what I believe is the E4OD, where it'll shift great, but it just doesn't know when to do it. It has no idea what it's doing. And then to cap everything off, one of the front brake lines blew because, believe it or not, it's an Iowa truck. At that point, I said, screw it, and put it on Marketplace anyway for like $2,500, and no one was touching it, which was weird, because, I mean, that's a 351 Windsor, two-wheel drive F250, which up here in Iowa, where it's, as you can tell, very windy, maybe not the best thing because of, you know, winter existing, but it's still a really clean OBS. I mean, it has been repainted once, but as you can tell, there's not a lot of rust in the thing, and it's a pretty good looking truck. It's even nice on the inside. The AC works. It's fantastic. Regardless, it took me like 2 months on Marketplace to get this thing sold. A guy showed up and he gave me $100 to hold it so that he could come with his brother and pick it up the next week with a trailer. 3 months have gone by since then. The truck is still in my yard. I pretty much can't get a hold of the guy, and I'm sick of waiting. So I guess I'll keep that $100 for storage, fix this, and sell it. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. Step one, get this on the trailer and get it to the shop, because believe it or not, with no brakes, it doesn't go down the road very well. Let's take a look at the old girl here. Angus has got her tires aired up. As you can see, interior, not bad. A couple little cracks in the dash, aftermarket radio, but the seats and everything are in decent shape. I've always really liked these OBS Fords. I think they have a lot of modern amenities, but yet still the old school style and feel to them, and they're pretty decent trucks. They do work well, they're comfortable, and they drive pretty good. Plus the engine options were pretty good. I mean, you had the 300, the 302, the 351, and the 460. All pretty damn good engines. The transmissions, however, as I'm sure we're about to find out in this episode, whole different story. All right, let's get this sucker up on the trailer. See if I can find a battery and fire it up. All right, found a random boat battery. Could you stop for like a day? That's too much. How about 5 minutes? It's got 1,000 marine cranking amps.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
How many Army cranking amps do you think that is?
I don't know. I can't believe that started. As you can tell, one of the things we did was put a full new exhaust on the truck already. Very high schooler-esque. Yeah, Flowmaster 40s are louder than I remembered. Alright, let's get her loaded up and head to town. Might be a little weird that we're starting with a running and driving truck for once, but if I don't do this on camera, it doesn't ever get done. So let's get this sucker fixed up and get it out of the yard. Really good truck for someone. You know what's going to happen, right?
You're going to love it,
yeah.
And you're not going to get rid of it. I'll buy it for $1, and then I'll sell it for money, and then give you the change.
Make it $2,500 right now, and I'll just stop filming. You know what I literally never thought of trying? The brakes.
Huh.
To see if the backs still worked.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, let's get this thing figured out. Oh, we've come up with a plan, by the way. Angus informed me that it's about the time we put the dock in up at the cabin, and As you saw in the last video, we pulled that boat out of the shed but left a whole bunch of other shit there, and what better thing to pick stuff up with than a long box F250. We even haul a little trailer. So there's our goal. Fix this sucker as fast as we can, and then once again, 600 miles to Chautauqua and back. Let's do it. Alright, thanks to our bend pack lift, this sucker's up in the air. As you can see right here starting off, that is our blown brake line. It is a shared hose, is what they use to divide between the front brakes, just like that Ranger we just worked on. It's actually this inboard one that's blown, and I'm sure he's going to snap off on this side when we go to do our ball joints, which, if Angus, you want to give it a wiggle.
Oh, I can wiggle it.
Yeah, that is not supposed to move. Another indicator you can look for is cupping in the tire, which might be a little hard to show on camera here, but essentially it goes like this. See how the back of that tread is higher than the one in front of it on the left? Wiggle follows all the way through. It's called cupping, and that's what happens when you have bad ball joints. Fast forward to the future, here's a better example. And as you can see on this guy here, on this outer edge, it is completely worn off, and a lot of cupping in this one. I can feel giant humps. Being worn on one side and not the other is an indication that an alignment is off, which is probably due to that ball joint being bad. So we're gonna have to do lowers, and while we're here, we're gonna do uppers as well on these, because you gotta take them both off to get the whole spindle off and take the brake hose off, which will probably end up busting our lines, which are blown anyway. Beyond that, like I said, our transmission shifts really weird. We gotta figure that out. For now, let's go ahead and pop the tires off and get a look at our brakes and stuff, make a parts list and get that ordered, and then dig into this.
These are a little stuck, so I got a lug nut put back on. We're gonna try not to ruin these aluminum wheels.
I don't think I ever had these off.
I bet not.
Block of wood.
Who's gonna hold it?
I can hit it with the spin move again. You throw the wood at the right time. I'll hit it with the spin move.
Yes.
Tire through the wall.
Exactly what we'll do. Yes.
Oh. Hey, there it goes. I just got 3 more.
Hey, your ball joint's crooked.
In my rear ball joint, yeah. All right, let's start things off with the ball joints, the big nasty that is wrong with this truck. The only custom tool or special tool you're gonna need is the Harbor Freight ball joint press, or a friend that has one, which may arguably be harder to acquire. Kick things off. Let's get our brake hose out of here. We're gonna be replacing these. Next up, we're gonna want to remove our brakes. When I say remove our brakes, I mean remove the whole damn things. There we go. 2 21mm bolts. Pry our giant double piston caliper out of the way. Next up, our dust cap. Our cotter pin. Retainer. Retainer. Oop. Oh. There went our outer bearing. Yeah, the wheel seals still look pretty good. Not too much dirt in here. Next up is our dust shield, and 8mm. We'll take that off. 3 of them. Dust cover comes right off and gets all the crap all over that. Damn it. You have to clean that. So at this point, we're down to our spindle and tie rod. Let's go ahead and remove the cotter pin for our tie rod. Next up, 21mm on our tie rod. Oh, well, came off a lot easier than I was anticipating. Now we're simply going to take a hammer and strike the side of this, and it should release that tie rod. Okay, smoked the threads. Nice. Maybe leave the nut on. There we go. Now all we have left is this top bolt, and we pound everything down. Now this is a little different for every truck, so if you don't have an OBS Ford, Google it. There's a ton of info online about how to do all of these. People have made videos of it all. With that guy out of the way, we're going to clean this upper surface a little bit. Put a pry bar or a wedge in here and force those apart a little more to make life easy. Now this upper cap right here is going to stay here. He turns, and he's on eccentric, so that when he turns, he changes the alignment of this upper ball joint. So you want to make sure he lands in the same spot, be that you mark it, or in our case, there's 30 years of rust where it's pretty obvious to see where he lands. Just ensure that he lands in the same spot. Regardless, when this is done, you're going to want to go get an alignment done. Next up, remove the cotter pin on this bottom one. Ouch. With the cotter pin out, we will now remove the ball joint nut. There we go. There we go. And now, the final step here on the truck, we once again take the hammer and strike the sides of this lower ball joint, and all this will drop. Oh, actually, leave the nut on a couple threads so that it catches it when it falls. There it goes. Fought me pretty good. It's like it's been in there since 1997. All right, there we go. Our spindle is off. As you can hear, nevertheless see, junk. All right, let's take this over to the ball joint press and get her finished up. Okay, it's time to have some fun. We've got our spindle off of the truck. We have our Harbor Freight Maddox ball joint service kit. Honestly, a great buy.
You have a snap ring on the bottom of your lower ball joint to remove.
Sweet. So our idea here is to use the clamp to push the bearings out of the spindle. You're going to have a receiver cup that is larger than the bearing, so the bearing can pass through it in entirety. And you're going to have a pusher plate on the backside that is smaller than the hole. This way we can put pressure on just the spindle on this side and just the bearing on this side, and we'll push them right out.
There'll be two pressure plates. One will have a bigger hole in it, one will have a smaller hole. Smaller hole usually goes on your screw side. Bigger hole will go on your clamp side. So all you need is 4 hands.
So find a friend.
Buy a friend.
I think they closed that part of Craigslist.
Oh no.
Yeah, there he goes, just like that. Just got to get our cup seated right. And our lower. Now for our upper, we're going to stick this through the housing for the lower. And then pop our grease zerk out of here.
If you run into a ton of resistance to where you can't turn a wrench on it, you're probably bottoming one component against itself and trying to clamp a piece of steel to itself. Just back off, double check, make sure you've got everything lined up.
Ready?
Ready.
Yes. There it goes. Now we acquire the new ones. We're going to pop the rubber off both of these. If you got the money to buy them, buy the greasable ones. I did not because they weren't available, and I'm a cheap ass. To install, I'm going to slip a cup on there that fits right around that ball joint. You always want to do that to start with because that's what centers it, makes it all concentric. Got all of our plates lined up here. And now we simply use this to press it back into place. Yeah, this has been it's been pretty easy so far. A couple hours of work. Just a lot less to this than I anticipated.
No, yeah, 4-wheel drive ball joint changes on straight axles or twin I-beams. Those are a lot more in depth. You got U-joints to deal with, axle shafts, seals, all that. But this was easy.
Ready?
Yep.
There you have it. New ball joints. Fantastic. All right, as you've seen, our ball joints are in place. It's time to get this reinstalled into the truck. So basically, this is going to go together exactly in the opposite direction that it came apart. With the exception of, I'm going to put some anti-seize on this guy here. Okay. Go back to your home. There's a few torque values that you need to pay attention to. Probably this one, definitely this one, and this guy as well. So give those a Google. Get that mark realigned. Remember, we do have to take this to get in alignment after we do ball joints because this has moved and the bottom has now been relocated to where it used to be. So who knows when this was last aligned. Maybe the ball joint was half worn out that time. We're gonna knock this sucker out so we can get this done. We'll be back in a little bit when we've got this all wrapped up and a new brake line formed and in place. For the next hour, I finished up the front ball joints while Angus redid our front brake line and hoses. Okay, there we go. Ball joints are all wrapped up. We're gonna finish up some brake lines here and move on to transmission, tires, all the other problems. Alrighty, we got our ball joints and brakes wrapped up front. Let's get some wheels back on this sucker so we can do a test drive and see what else is wrong that we've forgotten about. I know we have some transmission issues, but I want to show you guys what it's doing before we tackle it. Here we go. Ugh.
Yeah, man, we can let this thing down.
Nah, I got it. Alright, we've got some Thunder Ranger all-terrains. Yeah! I don't know anything about these besides they have a decent looking sidewall and they were the cheapest tires I could find down at the local tire store. Alright, let's get them mounted up. They do look pretty damn good on here. Looks like a four-wheel drive now. Sneaky, sneaky. Good morning, Angus.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. We're not working on an Olds diesel, so it's a good day.
As you can see, we got the tires hung on here last night. We're still waiting for one last brake hose from O'Reilly's. Then we'll be able to drive this thing. We started our morning off by loosening up the tie rods, getting those easy to turn so we can run this over to the shop next door and have them do a real quick tow and go on it so that we don't ruin our brand new tires.
We had to practically beg, that's why we loosened them ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to jump in their line.
We still have an hour until the brake hose is here, so we're kind of burning time right now. We have a strange high idle that we need to chase down, and the AC doesn't seem to work anymore, so probably need to add some dye and another can of refrigerant. Where do you want to start?
I think we should start by thinking about it.
Okay, what do you want to do now?
I think we should start with the high idle.
High idle it is. I suspect a vacuum leak.
Me too.
We have our Amazon smoke detector tool. If you guys want one of these for yourselves, there'll be a link down in the description. Won't cost you anything extra or less, but we get a little kickback from it. We use it to buy consumables and stuff like brake line around the shop, which you can also check out a great kit for that down in the description. This is going to make smoke and pressure into our intake, and if there's any vacuum leaks, you'll be able to visually identify them. Fun fact, it runs on castor oil, aka laxative. So
Spray it at me, we gotta drive.
might poop ourselves afterwards.
You don't want that smoke.
Looks like we got a little throttle shaft leak, but not enough that I'm concerned. Let's let some into the intake here. I'm guessing that's EGR. Yeah, that EGR's got smoke pouring out of it pretty good. It's funny because I actually went through the work to weld the EGR to the headers when I did a header swap, so that the EGR is still active to avoid pinging. Well, let me check under dash for any HVAC leaks. I don't see anything. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's that. Yeah. Okay, cross your fingers. Yay. So the vacuum portion of this up top, we tested with the vacuum tester and it was still good. But the part that connects this tube to this tube, the actual valve seat down there in the bottom, is leaky, thus creating a vacuum leak. Pretty much every one of these trucks ever, this leaks on. So I've never actually went through the effort to replace one. This is a vacuum leak that is letting a lot of air in, but I can't imagine it's our high idle, so I don't know. O'Reilly's has one in stock, so we'll replace it. Meanwhile, speaking of O'Reilly's, they dropped off our brake hose.
Yay!
Let's get this up in the air, get that on, bleed the brakes, and get this over there for an alignment.
Yes.
Alright, it's time to bleed some brakes. As you can see here, we are on the driver's side front. I've already got the passenger done, and in our case, the rears were done. Generally, you want to start in the rears since they are the furthest back. You want to bleed those first. If you're having trouble getting fluid to the rears, no matter what you do, you might have a bad proportioning valve, which is up here, especially if you got a brake light on. If you blew a rear line, it might have stuck over and it's not returning. We've run into that a few times on cars. If we're getting no fluid in the back, it's a bad valve. If you're getting no fluid past a hose and you haven't replaced it, and it doesn't gravity bleed when you're doing the brakes, and there's a hose before it in line, that hose is bad and needs replaced. These swell internally and cause sadness. I don't love how these fit on this Ford. Oh, there we go. I just had to bend the hard part of the line. Speaking of things not fitting right, we've had a lot of trouble with this. This side wasn't quite cut right. This side, the washers that came with it were way too thin. Angus replaced the washers as you would, and when we opened up the fluid, or started putting fluid in it, it started pissing all over the ground because this was our washer, and as you can see, there's only rings in half of it. We had some crud underneath it that was keeping this guy up at an angle, and these were just way too thin, so throw those away, get some thicker ones. Once that's all done and all the leaks have been stopped, grab yourself a water bottle with a hose in it. You want a clear hose, that's the key here. You're gonna put that on the fitting, and then you're gonna have your buddy inside the truck follow your verbal instructions, and you're going to open and close the bleeder valve in accordance with his pedal position. Currently Angus is in the up position. I'm gonna have him go down. Down. I've got fluid up to here. Up. Up. I'm gonna close the valve. Down. Down. I'm going to now open the valve. I'm gonna close it again. Up. Up. Down. Down. Up. Sounds pretty good. I'm seeing no bubbles out of this side. I think our leaky washer bled everything for us. So yeah, there you go. Tell them to go down, open the line, wait for the bubbles and fluid to stop, clear line so you can see if there's tiny bubbles left. Close it, have them go up, rinse and repeat until there's no more bubbles. Always keep an eye on your fluid level, check it often. You don't want to run it out, you'll have to rebleed your master. And then have them test the brake when you think you're good and see how it feels. How's it feel, Angus?
Feels good.
Feels good. All right, let's drop this on the ground and drive it over and get an alignment done.
Well, we're halfway there.
There we go. Fire it up, see if it idles just as high as it did before.
I guess so.
Still damn high. Down with you. Down, I say. That's good enough. All right, alignment time. We're pushing the clock if you can't tell. We're still idling high, much like I suspected. It might just need to learn with the computer, but it's pretty damn high, like 1500. Thing is, it's never even tried to change. You gotta wonder if our idle air control valve is stuck. As is tradition, we were behind schedule and in a rush to head north. We threw the truck up on the rack and helped the guys at the shop get it close enough to send us north without scrubbing tires off. Well, shit, it looks good to me.
Eyeballed it myself.
Hey Kevin, did you know that the third brake light is out?
Are you serious?
I mean, they're using a brake depressor, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then we don't have a third brake light. Didn't you read something about
Yes.
that?
I was sitting down reading old forum posts about weird transmission issues with the E4ODs, and the torque converter lockup circuit shares a power source with the third brake light. And if the brake light burns out, it makes the transmissions do weird shit. I've spent hours researching what's wrong with this. I've bought all the sensors to replace on this. We might have to put a bulb in it, that's all. Well, our alignment's done. We're gonna put some fuel in here. This is a dual tank, forgot all about that. We don't see any visual issues with the rear tank, although
I can see why you might not have wanted to fill it up ever.
it doesn't fill, does it? Well, you've got almost a gallon in there now. All right, let's see if it does anything. Oh. It works. Yeah, level center works. All right. Let's fill her up and go for a test drive. All right. First drive in a number of months here. Let's see if the transmission is still dumb. Yep, it's still dumb. Hear it not shifting already?
Yep, $2,000.
You can hear the piston
There it
slapping.
goes.
Whoa. The steering box is a little loose or something. It holds the direction you turn now. Which
That's
means
fun.
Our caster's back where it's supposed to be, but it's just a little slappy.
We could fix that.
Well, we won't.
No.
Second. And there's overdrive.
Nice.
Let's go back to the shop, throw that new light bulb in, see if that fixes that, and then hit the road. I've got the rest of the parts, we'll deal with it on the way. We need to start making progress north, or we're going to be driving in the dark again.
Wee!
think we might want to address that too.
Nah, if it's twitching, we know it has pressure.
Yeah. All right, couple more sensors under here to replace before we hit the road. Right now our focus is the idle air control. As you notice, since we fired this up, it has never idled down or idled up or anything once. So I believe this to be completely stuck. The fact that it hasn't changed at all in any direction makes me think that this isn't even trying to move. Kind of just loading the parts cannon on this one to fix things, but you know what? It's fuel injection, and sometimes you just got to do that. Not usually. I mean, honestly, you can sit down and spend more time and search forums and technical manuals and blah, 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 and at least find a more logical explanation or diagnostic method, but other times, you know, this might be the first time I've ever actually just loaded the parts cannon in my life and let it loose on a fuel-injected vehicle. Feels expensive and lazy. Alright, there we go, new idle air control. Let's see if it idles any better. Cross your fingers, Angus.
Okay.
Oh, son of a bitch, I just put the old one back on. God!
Uncross my fingers.
Yes.
All right, in the meantime, while Kevin is reinstalling his idle air control valve,
Again.
we've got our third brake light out, and it's definitely burned. So we're just gonna slip a new one in there and just, you know, hopefully nothing weird changes. That would be odd and unfortunate for a manufacturer to do something so heinous. In you go, little buddy. Good luck. Okay, hopefully that fixes our transmission. How's it going up there?
Okay, try two. It's the right one this time, I swear. Replace our oil sensor, really couldn't get to it, really behind on time, really don't care anymore. We do have time to throw a couple cans of Freon in there along with some leak detecting dye and a little tag oil. That way when we get back and it goes empty again, we get a UV light figured out. Let's hit the road, 320 miles. All right, first stop sign we're leaving. Idle's still really high. Oil pressure gauge is still whacked. Let's see if the light bulb fixed anything. Still holds first too long, but does it go for torque converter lockout? Yes.
Yes, it does.
We fixed absolutely nothing.
Yay! Well, the
Okay.
AC works.
The AC does work. All right, well, we're late. We need to keep things moving. We got 5.5 hour drive to Chautauqua, so let's put the hammer down. I can manual this into overdrive, and then once it's there, we just set the cruise and point north. While we do that, I'm sure our co-pilot will do a little Googling, see if he can figure anything out. And then when we get there, we can deal with it up there and head back with a fully refined and finished automobile.
Certainly, that's what we'll do. Yeah, that's torque converter.
It's disgusting sounding. Maybe the bulb blew already.
Maybe our torque converter is bad and it keeps blowing our brake light bulb.
Yeah, maybe. 90s trucks were great when we were in high school. They didn't have all these problems yet.
I don't know if they were great. Mine wasn't great.
Maybe they just faded to legend in my mind.
Maybe.
All right, hammer down. Can't even get the kick northbound on 35. Doesn't want to kick down into third, hops right back into fourth.
Just looking behind this truck.
Kick down. Ah, we're gonna die. That's on the floor to get it to do that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so stupid. It's disgusting to drive because of that. Other than that, it rides great. It's really quiet in here. Damn near echoey.
Yeah.
We have a truck with seals for once for this trip.
Oh my god. What a nice truck. It's too bad the drive-line's all hecked up.
We just have to get something 30 years newer than we normally do. The AC works. We have a radio. And it rides nice for a 3/4 ton. I'm not gonna lie, this is that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm watching you jerk the wheel here and there out of the corner of my eye. It's pretty scary. So I looked up steering. Looks like we do have the normal adjustment that we talked about in the C1 or the C10 video. We can tighten the preload on the sector shaft, which is what moves our pitman arm. We can also easily adjust the worm bearing preload because it's on the back end of the pump bodies. It's not on the input shaft, it's behind it.
That makes so much more sense.
So we should be able to pretty easily tighten that box up as good as it's going to get. That would help us a lot. It's not going to fix our worn out tie rods.
You just put grease in them. They're fine.
Yeah, they're slippery now.
With a fix for the steering in mind, we set the cruise control, turned on the air conditioning, cranked up some tunes, and relaxed as we headed north down the interstate. For once, things were going good, and we figured nothing could stop us now, except for the police. Man, you've got to be kidding me. 3 times in a week. We got pulled over in the last video for no plates. We went home, still haven't owned the car for 30 days to this point. In Iowa, you have 30 days to put a plate and register a car, so we're totally legal. We went home, drove it to the bar to get supper one night, got pulled over like 2 days after the video, and here we are 3 days later, pulled over for no plates again. I have never been pulled over for no plates.
To be fair, they are doing their job. Like, we understand that.
This is totally accurate,
but it's weird that it's happening so much all of a sudden.
3 times in a week?
Are we driving suspicious vehicles?
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, are they pulling the Oldsmobile over because they think we are 70, 80 years old and our license is probably expired?
There's that back for you.
Awesome.
Do you have any interest in keeping this?
No, you can have it if you want a souvenir.
Alright, I'm just gonna turn it into the courthouses.
Nope, that's fine.
So that way you don't end up with bad registration or whatever.
Sweet.
So. Alright, any questions for me?
Do you want a sticker?
Do you guys want a sticker?
You have a sticker?
Yeah, I've got stickers.
Hell yeah, I
What do you
want a
got for
sticker.
Do we get junior officer stickers?
That's what they are.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Let me see if I have another one so you guys don't have to fight over it.
Oh, that's all right. I'll leave him with that for if we get
Yeah,
stopped
if we get
again.
stopped,
you
I
need one
swear.
too. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, I appreciate this, guys.
Well, absolutely.
Take care. You guys drive safe, alright?
Yep, thank you very much. Do I do a fat burnout right now?
No.
Well, that was cool. Thank you, officer of the Iowa State Patrol.
Very nice.
We got junior trooper stickers. Oh, there's second. Ow. Actually, that's third. I have to wonder, what level of authority does this give us? I mean, according to this, I am a junior trooper of the Iowa State Patrol.
I can't wait to get pulled over again for the same thing.
I swear.
And you just whip this out and go, yeah,
Officer,
we
it's okay.
know.
It's okay, officer. I'm one of you. Alright, we made it to Clear Lake. Calling that good enough. The giant potholes in what used to be a decent road in Iowa. I'm sick of it. We're tightening the steering box. I don't want to do this anymore. This is terrible. Somebody write... Ow! Somebody write a congressman.
Brandon Herrera, please fix Kevin's transmission.
You know what? We gotta do it ourselves, Angus. We gotta run for Congress.
Let's not.
Whacker for president.
No.
24.
Absolutely not.
Don't have the tools we need?
No.
It's an Allen wrench of all things. Good news. My cousin manages that exact Ford dealership. I forgot all about that. Well, let's go see if they're around. What do you see for trade over there?
Ooh, they got a Shelby Raptor.
Oh, they do have a Shelby Raptor. They've got a couple Broncos. I wouldn't mind a Bronco. Okay, hear me out.
Alright, Kevin.
Oh,
Oh, baby.
our hero.
We got tools.
Everyone, my cousin Brian.
Hey, how we doing?
How are you?
Good.
Hey, you got a good Taurus sitting over there. I'll trade you.
We can set you up. Hey, I got a few out here that are, you know, maybe on the Junkyard Dig side of the house leaning.
You might have another one.
Are they as
Here in a few
wiggly as
minutes.
ours are?
Are they as wiggly as ours?
Oh, wow. That's solid. We lean towards the certified sort of things.
Oh,
This is a certified
We
piece
can
of
take,
trash.
you know what? This is gold certified-ish.
you are the sales manager up here, correct?
Yeah,
Harrison
General
Ford,
Manager Harrison Ford, you bet.
Clear Lake, Iowa.
Yeah.
If you need some stuff, hit them up.
Hey, we got the tools today to fix up this truck here at Harrison Ford.
Sweet.
Come see us. Take it part of the Harrison Advantage.
They can just fix anything right in their yard.
We can
Just
fix
pull
it.
on
We'll
in,
fix it right here. We'll fix it on the hoist.
Do your
whatever
engine
you need
swaps on the
fixed.
sidewalk.
Pull up, pull your parts out, pull the engine.
No problem. Whatever you need.
Let's get this box tightened up with this thing and hit the road again.
Oh, I found it. Oh my god. Oh boy.
Figure it out. It's not the box?
It's the joint right on the pitman arm. It's nothing we can do about
Nothing we're
that.
gonna do about that. Onward! With that, we hop back on the horrible I-35 North.
Oh boy.
Jeez. It's coming apart like the Columbia. Fix your goddamn roads, Iowa! Jesus! Someone's gonna die. As we struggled on with the loose steering and potholes, we eventually crossed the border into Minnesota. We kept the hammer down for the next couple hours with our sights set for the O'Reillys in New Richmond. They had a new drag link in stock, and this steering was absolutely terrifying. With the new parts acquired, we hopped back on the road, eager to make it to Chautauqua.
Oh yeah.
It's a tracker!
It's definitely aliens.
John Deere.
Green aliens. We narrowly missed the tractor beam.
Alright, you win. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome in the dark to the town of Chautauqua, Wisconsin. The biggest concerns we have right now are the fact that the steering is still terrible and the transmission does not know what to do with itself whatsoever.
It's a shame because we changed that brake light.
Yeah, I really thought that would fix it. Alright, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Man, what a beautiful Wisconsin morning.
So peaceful.
I could stay here forever.
We might not have a choice.
Not wrong. We should probably go fix that truck, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Way to ruin a good day.
Yep. Alright, begin. Alright.
Our box of things has things in it.
Ironically, the transmission and high idle and all that is not the largest issues this truck has.
90s Fords are intense. Why does this tie rod come with a bayonet attachment?
So our problem lies currently, as you saw, in that guy right there. So step one for today is drop the current one out of the truck and get the new one in it so that we don't die. Alright, as you can see, we've got our driver's side tie rod off. We're just going to let him hang there. Once again, just like back at the shop, shock it with a hammer, hope she drops out. Okay, that's not working. Worry not, we bought a pickle fork.
The longest pickle fork known to man.
Yeah, the unusably long pickle fork. And there we go. Tie rod's off. Just gotta loosen up our ends, do a measurement, and we'll be good to go. Is it nap time? I think it's nap time. Oh, there we go. Pretty sure this is bent. It bent right here.
Oh, man.
Holy hell. Trick here to estimate where this needs to be, since we had a bend, is that we didn't touch the tires at all. And they've got a whole truck sitting on them, so they won't move. So we're going to line this up until it goes straight into that box, or that pitman arm, as cleanly as it can, just like that.
Just like that, except for I forgot the boot.
So it might be on a different thread, but the tires are still exactly as aligned as they were before. So in our mind, that makes sense.
It's going to be good enough for who it's for, meaning us.
And there we go. Alright, let's give her a test drive. Oh, this is so much better.
Perfect.
Believe it or not, fixing it fixed it.
That's weird.
No, hard to believe.
Now, how do we fix the transmission?
I don't know, but check this out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah,
Man, that is so much better.
that's so much better. We really should have fixed that before we left.
Yeah. Remember, kids,
Boing.
check your steering joints because it was a scary drive up here, and we could have been so much less freaked out if we'd have had that fixed beforehand. I'd have been much less freaked out if we'd have fixed that too.
I don't know how to fix that. We just went from fourth to first.
That was incredible.
First.
Still first.
Second first.
Neutral first.
Second. First. Second.
Ah.
Or even and overdrive lockup. Boom, boom. Disgusting. Something's commanding our IAC to be open as well. I think we start with the TPS, which might be related issues.
Hopefully.
Okay, so we're back under the hood. Testing the TPS sensor. Having a hard time getting my multimeter on the other one. Figure it might be faster just to plug our new one in and turn this with a screwdriver and see if the truck idles. it's a bunch of work to replace that, so that's why we wanted to test it first. We gotta take this whole throttle body off, but let's do it. Interesting. 1.5 volts. Yeah, that's not what that's supposed to have. This guy right here is supposed to read at 0.96 to 0.98, just under a volt at idle. Some of the aftermarket ones like this will not. Clearly this one is at 1.5, so what we need to do is drill out these holes a little bit so that we can twist this more on its mount and get it to the appropriate value. So what someone did was replace this, bolted it on, called it good. Clearly this has a little different reading than the factory one, and therefore this truck ran like crap ever since then. So this is probably the majority of our problems. It'd be really cool if it fixed the pinging noises too, or whatever the hell that clattery clanging is. Well, this has gone better. Before I put our old sensor on, I tested it at, well, 0, as in like no throttle, and it only ever goes down to 1.147, which the truck will read as open throttle even at idle. So that sensor is no good. The numbers are all whacked out. The new one here goes down to 0.4, so we definitely could have got him within the right range, but the spring broke on the inside, and it needs that to return back to 0, or else you hit the throttle and it just opens up and stays at, you know, throttle, not knowing that it's back to idle. So that one's junk. I don't know what it is about throttle position sensors, but they hate me today. I went to go put the old one back on, and it just quit working. Started reading millivolts instead of volts, and kind of shorted out and burned up inside, and it's junk. So that's fun. Still got the broken new one here that doesn't return to center. I also have a little bit of JB weld, so I'm going to do some arts and crafts and see if I can get this on that shaft and make it return with the shaft. I don't know why they made it the way they did, but hopefully that will make it the way I want it to be. Wish me luck. We'll be back. Alright, our JB weld set up. I've got some holes hollowed out in that thing. Had to drill the hell out of it, but there it is. 0.969 volts at idle. Alright, let's get this back together, see how it runs. I think I might be able to make that work permanently. Yes! I got rid of all of our pinging noise. Hell yes! This thing is finally good to go. Let's hop in and see if the transmission works. First gear. 4 grand shifts.
Nice.
And there's overdrive at 35 still. Okay,
So it's not better.
no, still something wrong with the trans, but we got the engine thing figured out. Slowly and surely making progress on this. Still sucks, but it idles finally, so one thing at a time. Either way, we're finally to the storage unit. As you can tell, it's the afternoon. We're supposed to be home by now. Let's load this sucker up and probably, you know, spend one more night in Chautauqua, I suppose. With that, we spent the next hour packing as much stuff as physically possible into the back of the truck. Man, if they didn't have a reason to pull us over before, now they do. We look like top-notch crackheads. Alright, let's get out of here. With that done, we headed back to the cabin for some much-needed rest, eager to hit the road early tomorrow morning.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're starting our day by replacing the manual lever position selector. This is basically a selector with a bunch of different resistors in it that read out different resistances to the computer, and then it uses that to determine what gear it's in. I don't necessarily imagine this is our problem, but damn if I'm not running out of things to replace, and this thing has made no improvements whatsoever. The only thing left to replace besides this are the shift solenoids, which seem to work excellent because they slam into gear randomly just fine, and the vehicle speed sensor, which is on the rear differential, and the speedometer is dead steady. If they start to waver and wiggle or not work at all, that means your speed sensor's bad. This one seems to be just fine. So we're going to replace this because we're running out of ideas, and then we're going to hit the road because we're running out of time, and we need to be getting back home. You're different. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine. Good luck in there. Random part. Well, believe it or not, the one that was completely different didn't fit at all and was totally the wrong part, so I guess we're putting the old one back on. In the meantime, Angus is throwing a new vehicle speed sensor in because at this point, why the hell not? There we go. First. Second, really hard. Waiting for third, any second now. Third. Yep. just as screwed. I'm not convinced it isn't the TCM at this point. Like, it's being commanded to shift and lock up the torque converter and everything, just none of it at the right time, and none of it in a single direction. It's not like it's all late or it's all early. First gear's late, the rest of everything else is early, and I think the torque converter is locked damn near all the time because all the gears feel really weird and weak. Second. Yep, still doing it. Well, a few miles down the road, things are going well. There's a lot of stop signs, and they're really annoying. We have to do this every time. Actually holding second. No, that's third. So we just cannot accelerate. If anyone knows what's wrong with this, please let me know down in the comments. There's overdrive. I kick it kicks down. Overdrive, kick it kicks down. It's shifting too early from 3 to 4. It's skipping second entirely. If you take out from a stop, it hops into second or third or whatever, and you punch the throttle, which goes full neutral in first and then slams back into gear. I don't know, this thing is so screwed up. If anyone knows what it is, let us know down in the comments, please, because at this point, I give up. Let's just drive up.
On top of the transmission issues, the steering was still pretty loose in the truck. Our steering shaft definitely has some play in it, and we likely messed up the toe when we fixed it up at the cabin. Regardless, we eventually crossed the border back into Minnesota and continued south on our trip.
Well, I was getting tired, so we stopped and switched. Angus's first time in the hot seat for the truck. Now here's the trick. Manual 1 and 2, and then keep punching it on the floor for 3. But not all the way to the floor, it'll downshift all the way to neutral. Engage violence. See, it shifts great. It grabs each gear. It just does it at the most random freaking times. If you leave it in drive, it just skips second altogether. I swear the torque converter is locked in third because it has no pause. Like 2.5 hours left to go?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm telling myself that.
let's do it.
This is the biggest bag of shit we've ever built.
It drives.
You drove this here worse?
It was worse.
Oh my god.
It drives horrible. I know the steering shaft's still loose. Probably the rest of the tie rods also need redone. But all right, well, you keep us from dying. I'm gonna take a nap.
After some intense rain, we made it across the border once again, back into Iowa where we stopped for fuel.
I'll tell you what is happening at this gas station? Anyway, what I was trying to say was I kind of missed the diesel that we had for this trip last week because this one goes through a lot of fuel. Thank God both tanks worked because we ran pretty much both of them dry to get from Chetek to Dow's. 200 something miles.
Yeah, 230 maybe.
This is get like 10 miles per gallon.
That's rough.
Alright, fill her up again, hit the road. One last leg. About an hour left to go, let's do it. Get me out of this damn thing. For sale, $6 grand, I don't know. Transmission, I give up. I don't know what to do.
5-speed swap.
I'm just waiting to read the comments on the video. They always get it right. Angus against all odds. We've made it to Ames.
Yes.
That sucked.
It was really bad, actually.
Yeah, it was great for sale.
It was so good.
I would drive this anywhere.
I certainly wouldn't have rather taken the Oldsmobile diesel again.
Like a glove.
I'll do.
That'll do it. Oh, that's always such a long drive. This one was even longer. Well, there you have it, folks. The 97 F250 has traveled all the way to Chetek, Wisconsin, been loaded with shit, and drove all the way back. Arguably, still just as broke as it was in the beginning, but this time it's got a bunch more new parts on it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you know what the hell's wrong with the transmission, please let us know. Thank you to Angus for all of his help. Thank you to our friends up at Chetek for hanging out, having a good time. And thank you to you guys for watching this video. Best way to support the channel is to check out merch at junkyarddigs.com.
At this point, I'm gonna go take a much needed shower and then a long nap. If you want to buy the truck, I don't know, fixed, $6,500 seems like a good number. We need to make our money back on it. Otherwise, someone bring me like $5,000 or something. I don't know. Just get this out of my yard, please. Actually, technically, not a problem, because it's in Angus's yard.
Oh, wait a minute.
This video was a great success. We'll see you guys next week.
No, wait.
Peace.